All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the MMAOB Daily Podcast, Monday, June 19th, 2023. I am your host, as always, Adam Martin, and I'm joined by my co-host here, Mr. Big Marcel. We're going to be recapping UFC Vegas 75. We'll also talk a little bit about Bellator 297 and PFL 5. So quite a bit to talk about on the recap show, Marcel. And then, once we're in the recap in an hour, we're going to be previewing UFC Jacksonville, Emmett versus Topuria. I think it's a pretty good card. A little bit of a bout order switch up today. We'll talk about that in the next hour. But like I said, we're going to start with UFC Vegas 75. We'll do the recap here, guys. First off, Marcel, how's it going, man?
How was your weekend? Man, all good, all good. Pretty hot over here, but all good. Also good, a lot of MMA this weekend, I had my dad's birthday. Family came over. Your dad as well, by the way. Late happy birthday to your dad.
I appreciate that. Yeah.
And it's pretty funny that both of our dads are like birthday back to back. Back to back.
Yeah, when you told me that, I was like, "Whoa!" Like the same day. Was it the same day or the day after? I can't remember.
Mine is the 13th.
Okay, 14th through here. Yeah, that's crazy. Isn't that wild? Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. But I appreciate that, man. Thanks for saying that. It's also Father's Day, Marcel. My second Father's Day.
Oh yeah.
Sure. I got this new shirt for Father's Day, so that was awesome. Yeah, that was interesting. Anyways, we're gonna get into the card here, guys. We got a couple comments in the chat. Glenn's always here, man. Every Monday evening, Glenn, you're here, and it's 5-hour difference in England or 6? I can't remember. 5?
It's 6 for him, 5 for me. Oh no, it's 5 for him and 6 for me. Yeah, true.
Yeah, so it's 10 o'clock. So Glenn, we appreciate you, man. Always tuning in late for you. Joe, what's up, brother? You're always here, man. Every Monday as well. We got Knox here. What's up, man? Great weekend. I mean, it was pretty good. It was Father's Day, like I said, so got to see my daughter, which was good. Antoine, what's up, man? Glad to have you here as well. All right, guys, so let's get into the preview here. UFC Vegas 75. Marcel, this year hasn't been the greatest year for picks, but this was the best night I've had all year. So let's give you some fucking credit here, guys. I was one pick away from a perfect card. I really was, Marcel. And that, again, that's not counting the Argueta and Lawrence fight, because I told you last week I was kind of on the fence about it. I picked Lawrence. Argueta got screwed. We'll talk about that in a sec. Still, technically, no contest. Marcel, I was running to that main event. I just needed Vettori for a perfect card, and he gets absolutely destroyed. So, wow. I mean, listen, I thought the fight would be competitive. I didn't think it'd be like a blowout either way, and it turned out to be. So let's just get into it. It was an epic beatdown, dude. I mean, Vettori's face got beat up so bad. He took so much damage in this fight, guys. Like, I'll be definitely looking to fade Vettori in his next fight. I don't think I'll be able to bet on him for a while now. Took way too much damage. And again, he did survive, Marcel. His chin didn't crack, but it's going to break soon. He's just a human being. Yeah, it seems like he's got a blocked head, but he's a human being, man, and you can only take so much damage. And I think we've been seeing that for a few fights now that you look at it, right? Like the Costa fight was a war. Then Whitaker really teed off on him. And then the Lize fight, I mean, that was kind of, I think we kind of saw some decline, but he still won the fight, even though I didn't think so. And then this fight just, epic beatdown. Cannonier clearly won the fight. I scored at 49-44, gave him 10-8 in round 2 and 5. The second round, obviously, is a 10-8. I mean, you have to score that 10-8, guys. If you don't, then you don't know what a 10-8 round is, because it is. The fifth round is a little bit more on the bubble, but I still think it was 10-8 too. I mean, the fight was a beatdown. Other than the first round, which Vettori won, he didn't win a second in that fight. Cannonier landed 241 significant strikes, looked amazing. Yeah, man, I didn't expect a 39-year-old guy to go out there and have 5 rounds of cardio like that and just put it all together. He looked amazing. Marcel, give me your thoughts on the fight, man.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think Vettori started very well. He tagged Jared Cannonier, and but alongside the first round, I mean, Cannonier was getting better in the exchanges as well. Second round, clear 10-8 round, in my opinion. Yeah, I think everybody scored at the 10-8. Pretty much everybody. And for me, it was surprising that Vettori could take so much punishment. I know he's never been finished, but still,
he's a person, right? He's a human being.
Yeah. Cannonier doesn't throw pillow punches. You know what I mean? Wow. So I didn't score the fifth round at 10-8. I think it was very close to be a 10-8. I scored that one at 10-9, but I don't judge a 10-8 round. I think it's very possible. So for me, it was like 49. Let me say 49-45. I had it. I mean, good performance by Cannonier. I feel like it was a it's what he has to do. You have to do, after you. It sucks for him, It's the 3 guys in front of him. One is fighting in another weight class, and the other two he lost to. Yeah. So where he goes from here. And I want to talk about the Alex Behunen, of our friend, who tweeted a piece of the how do you say that, of the post-fight presser, that Jared didn't really like the question about him fighting Khamzat. I mean, it wasn't a bad question, but it's like people got really upset about it. It was so stupid. I mean, who you want to see Jared fight next? Do you want to see a rematch against Adesanya? You can say yeah, because that was a great fight. But who tells me that that doesn't happen the same thing as the first time? Because Adesanya is a way different fighter than Vettori. You know what I mean? So it's difficult. I think what I personally think is that if Whitaker doesn't win against Dricus, I think he wins. But if he doesn't win against Dricus, you run that one back with Jared Cannonier. That's what I think.
I agree.
Because that was a close fight. Whitaker won, but it was a close fight.
And it was only 3 rounds. Like I'd like to see a 5-round fight for that. Because remember the third round, Cannonier was coming, and he had a broken arm in that fight. And Marcel, remember he came on strong in that fight in that third round. This guy's cardio was insane.
Yeah, and I'm the biggest Whitaker fan probably. So but. I agree. Cannonier can definitely beat him, so I feel like that would be a good fight. But then again, I think Whitaker beats Dricus. So and we can do Dricus against Cannonier. I don't mind that either. So I mean, he can fight pretty much the loser of that fight, because the winner's fighting Adesanya, I think.
Yeah. I mean, it's a shame that Pereira is not in the division anymore, because that would be a great fight, man. Pereira and Cannonier. I would love to see that fight. But yeah, Marcel, for me, like, Cannonier's had some big wins in his career, guys. Obviously, he's won a lot of bonuses. He's knocked some good guys out. I think this was by far the best performance of his career. Like, to me, this is one of the best performances of the year, right? When you say, like, most complete.
Really good.
Yeah, it was great.
And unexpected, to be honest. I think everybody, like if you ask 100 people, I think 90 people would say super close fight, coin flip pretty much,
Yep.
And Cannonier proved that he is the rightful number 3 in that division, and maybe even number 2, because still Pereira isn't in the division anymore.
That's true. Yep. I mean, I'm just saying, if he came back to the division, Cannonier and Pereira would be a fucking awesome striking battle, I would think. Although Cannonier probably would take him down. One thing that did surprise me in this fight, because again, I picked Vettori, but looking back now, obviously a bad pick, because Cannonier, much superior striker, we saw that. But I figured Vettori would push the wrestling more. He only got one takedown, Marcel. He only attempted 1 takedown the whole fight. Cannonier had 4 takedowns and attempted
crazy,
6.
right?
So it was the opposite. And actually, I think at the post the pre-fight press conference, someone had asked him about his wrestling, and he would said, like, I'm going to be the one who takes him down. And Vettori kind of laughed it off, right? Yeah. But he actually didn't do it. So yeah, great performance by Cannonier. Vettori, I know he went to Extreme Couture for this camp. I mean, I don't think it's not the right gym for him. Clearly,
he relocated. Actually, he lives now in Las Vegas.
Bro, he's not. I mean, I know there's other gyms there. Like, it just seemed like the wrong gym. And also, like, was it Dewey Cooper in his corner? Is that who was there? Was that who it was?
Definitely. Yeah.
I mean, he's a great coach, but man, how do you not throw the towel in? You have to in this fight. Like, the amount of damage you took, guys, is life changing. I mean, this was a beatdown. Again, it was like all time in the UFC, 4th most significant strikes landed in a single fight. And I think Max Holloway has like the first 2 or 3 of those. So for a middleweight, the amount of output was insane. I know a lot of people are like, they're accusing him of being on steroids or EPO, PEDs, right? There's no proof of that, but it did surprise me how good his cardio was. I saw someone talk about the scorecards. How did Sal D'Amato give 2 rounds to Marvin Vettori? I mean, I don't really get it. Like, I don't get it, Marcel. That 4th round, I mean, I know, like, I looked at the striking stats. Somehow it says Vettori landed him. I don't agree. I don't know, man. That's why sometimes the stats are a little, like, maybe he did, but like, it was probably like a few more jabs compared to like 20 more punches to the head. You know what I mean? So,
bro, I have water here. I'm pretty sure Sal has booze during the fight. I mean,
the guy's a goof. There's another bad scorecard we'll talk about earlier in the card.
Yeah, but I mean, how can you score 4th round for Marvin?
No, you can't.
This is what we talked about before, You see a fight where one guy is dominating the 2nd round, clearly the 3rd round, and then in the 4th round, you see a little bit less domination from the guy, and you think like, oh, the other guy is a little bit better in this round. Maybe we should give him that round. It's super stupid. It's like, it doesn't mean that one guy isn't as good or isn't dominant in the 2nd and 3rd round and not as dominant in the 4th round that he doesn't win the 4th round. You know what I mean? It's like really weird. And I have another one for the co-main event I actually don't agree with, but go ahead.
Yeah. Anyways, we gotta get some comments here. I'm gonna get some ones about the fight, guys. Here's a question: does no contest get your money back? Yeah, you do. It's just like a push. It's called a push. It's like a draw. I think this loss might change Vettori. I agree. I agree. I mean, it's like Ferguson and Gates. The amount of damage he took in that fight. Jared looked great, man. Vettori's corner pull him. Yes, absolutely. I mean, absolutely. What was the point of staying out for the 5th round? He was so far down the cards. What's he going to knock out Cannonier? Come on. Fights a power punch next thing he dropped. I think he's going to get knocked out in his next fight, probably. He needs to take at least like a year off, probably, Marcel. Like, he should not fight again at least for the rest of this year. I always thought Vettori's striking was subpar. Yeah, it's not great. Herman's striking looked great against Chris Curtis, though, in that fight. I think he's got pretty good striking. A little underrated, but what's up, Patrick? Glad to have you here in the chat, my friend. I think Jared didn't like the would you welcome Khamzat to the division, implying he would fight Khamzat just to fight. Yeah, I saw it. I saw the clip of.
I think Alex kind of mean like if he fights Khamzat, he wins.
I don't think Alex is wrong about that.
Yeah, and then they can't deny him a title shot. You know,
I don't think he's wrong. Actually, I think that's a good fight to make. To be honest with you, like the winner should get a title shot, right?
Yeah. The thing is, like, you guys got to see it like this. Khamzat is not ranked at middleweight, but Khamzat is a huge name at this moment.
Exactly.
You know? So if he wins that fight, I mean, that's big, you know, and it doesn't matter he's not ranked at 185, you know. I mean, look what the UFC is doing with Sean Strickland, Abus Magomedov, Ikram Aliskerov against Paulo Costa. These guys, if those guys win against Strickland or the guy wins against Costa, they can be aligned for a title shot. Don't look weird if that happens, because they don't have anyone to fight Adesanya at this moment. Yeah, they are really hoping Dricus wins against Robert Whittaker. They're really hoping that so they can make that fight. But the UFC has just been stupid by booking that fight in July and making that September card in Sydney, and already announcing Adesanya fighting the main event, the winner. You don't know what happens in that fight. If they were really smart, listen, man, I'm not for it. I think Whittaker deserves it more. But if they're really smart, they pulled that fight and they made Adesanya against Dricus in Australia, man. You know what I mean?
I agree. But I'm going to that card, so I hope they don't pull the fight now. Because
you're going to that. Oh yeah, of course. You're going to Las Vegas. Yeah,
not the one in Sydney. No. Yeah. I know what you're saying. I'm selfish though. I want to see the fight now. Because really, I agree with you.
I understand.
Whittaker broke Jared's arm in the first. Yeah, he almost came back and knocked him out in the third. It's crazy. I'm very worried about the fight at the Leedsy. Vettori he's Vettori. This is the kind of fight that again changes your career, guys. I remember the fight with Kevin. I get it. Kevin Holland's much easier to take down, but like he did try to take him down. This fight, Marcel, one takedown attempt, he got it. But again, you know, to be fair, Jared, I mean, his takedown defense looked pretty good. Overall against the fence, and he's the one who took him down. So maybe he was never going to take him down. I can't remember. Did you pick Cannonier, Marcel? Did you pick him?
No, I picked Vettori.
Fuck! Like looking back, I just wish we had picked him because he really had such a significant striking advantage, man. He really did. Like, I guess I thought Vettori would use the grappling more, man. I really did. Go ahead.
I really feel like this is like, and that sounds super stupid because Cannonier fighting for such a long time, but that feels like a real coming out party for Cannonier. You know what I mean? And it's crazy because he's fighting for a long time. Yeah, but we haven't seen him this good, in my opinion, in the octagon. You know, he's always been good and decent at middleweight. You know, but we never saw him like this, in my opinion. You know, and I think this is a real good fight for him, and I think more people respect him now. You know, people are always like kind of looking past him, you know, but I don't think that happens anymore. You know, this is really a good win. This
agreed. Somebody shaved the skill in Abu Dhabi with Khamzat? No, I don't think so. Anyways, you know what's crazy? Like during the fight, right? Because again, I had all the picks right. I was talking to my friend, and he's like, "Dude, we were both talking about the fight before," and I'm like, "I do like Vettori here," but as we got to the last fight, Marcel, I was like, "Man, the odds of me getting this pick right seem slim because it's so hard to get a perfect card." As stupid as that sounds, right? Like I understand every fight is its own event, it's its own entity. I get that, but like just knowing how many cards I picked through the years, I think I have like 1 or 2 perfect cards. It's almost it's so hard to get a perfect card, Marcel, as you know. Like to get every fight right is so hard, and you have to have some luck. Like you have to have some no contest or some shitty judging decision going in your favor. Like it happens, right? But I just had that small bit of doubt at the end. But you know, I again, the instinct came in, but it kicked in too late. I wish I had said this on the podcast last week, but man, seriously, what a great performance by Cannonier.
I mean, I remember when I was at MMA DNA, Michael Duarte had like a 13-0 card, and it was International Fight Week, and he
Yeah.
was one of the only people picking Chance Rancounter over Ismail Nurdiev back
Nice
then.
pick.
You know,
That's a crazy pick. Yeah, I wouldn't have picked
and that's
that.
what. Yeah, exactly, and that's what makes a difference, in those kind of cards, because you always have one or two fights on a card that goes not that you expect normally, and Adam is listening to a ghost, but yeah, I mean, it happens.
I heard something like it's okay. Don't
Okay,
worry. Anyways, get some comments. Fizzy of Gamera, I don't know. They've agreed to it on Twitter. I hope that fight happens. I think Imavov would beat Vettori Cannonier. I don't think he beats Cannonier, dude. I think Cannonier destroys him. I think Cannonier beats everyone except for Izzy and
Imavov doesn't have
Whitaker.
the cardio.
Yeah. How good is Strickland? I don't think he got robbed against Cannonier, but Strickland's fucking good. He's so underrated, man. People just look at him as a goof, like an idiot, like because of his opinions and stuff. He's a
He's
good
actually
fucking
smart.
fighter.
He's smart,
He's
actually,
pretty-
by doing that.
He's a good
By the
fighter,
way,
too.
he uploaded or he planned a Q&A like 4 hours ago on his channel on YouTube, but he took it down. I wonder what's happened.
They can't get monetized because of all the swearing. I think maybe that has something to do with it. Anyways, you're good with that? Let's go to the next fight, Marcel.
Yeah, for sure, man.
And by the way, that one fight of the night, obviously. I mean, right now it's, even though it was kind of one-sided, it was still a good fight. There's no doubt about it, But yeah, I think it's probably one of the better fights of the year so far. Anyways, we'll go to the next fight here, Marcel. Co-main event, Arman Tsarukyan defeats Joaquim Silva. I mean, I said grounded pound TKO. It's what happened. But I thought first, second round, maybe. I didn't think late third.
Second round, yeah.
I didn't think it'd be a struggle to get it late in this fight. Joaquim Silva, I thought he looked better than I expected, Marcel. I really did. I mean, I didn't expect him to light up Tsarukyan on the feet, especially in the second round. He rocked him. Arman's striking defense looked pretty bad in this fight, man. Let's just be realistic, dude. He got rocked a lot. His head movement was poor. The grappling saved him. But we knew that. We knew his grappling is elite. The ground and pound, that's exactly what I called it. I told you guys he would take him and beat the shit out of him. He did. Just took him 3 rounds to do it. I still think Arman's one of the best guys in the world. I don't think this is his best performance by any means. I do think that Silva's a little bit underrated, because he's not ranked, and he's been in the UFC a long time, though. People, like we talked about last week, people don't really give him the credit he deserves. But it's still a fight Arman needs to win. He had to finish, like he talked about, because if he didn't, people would be like, "Oh, you couldn't finish this guy. He's unranked." Got the finish, brutal fashion. Just, I think he struggled a little bit, especially in that second round with striking. So to me, it's like he's got to get back to work on the striking defense. It's not necessarily his striking. His striking looked decent, but the defense is not. It's not great. And honestly, man, there's just levels to this game, which we know. So Arman's great, but would he's calling out Islam for the rematch. The first fight was competitive. There's no doubt. Like, remember, and that was his first fight in the UFC, right? But I couldn't pick him if he fought him in the rematch. There's no way I could pick against Islam. I do think the next fight to make is Dariush. I think that's the fight. Dariush says he wants to get back in there. He doesn't have an opponent. He's ranked highly coming off a loss now. I think he's going to have to take a fight like this. I would actually favor Arman in that fight. I just want to see how he does, on the feet again, because I don't think this is his best performance on the feet. Anyways, I know you have some strong thoughts, man. I'll let you take the floor. You can go ahead.
I tell you this, man. If he fights Michael Chandler doesn't get the chance to rock him like this, because Arman clearly underestimated Joaquim Silva's stand-up game and thought he could strike with him just because, without really defending.
Yep.
And he didn't talk too much about Joaquim Silva. He was toying with him in the first round. He was just grappling, was laying on him, was trying to get position. Didn't do too much. Won the first round. Second round. And I still think, besides that punch, Tsarukyan beat him in the second round, dude. I still think beside that punch, and people, I don't think you can score around 10-9 for Silva by landing one punch. Wasn't even a knockdown, was just staggering, and he took him down. So that's not a knockdown. It's definitely a tagging. He tagged him, clearly rocked him.
Yep.
Not a knockdown. Third round, he took him down and he finished him viciously. So the thing is here, like, people are like, oh, if Silva can rock him, then these other guys can definitely, of course, but they won't get that chance. He's not going to strike like an idiot with Michael Chandler. He's not going to strike like an idiot with Justin Gaethje. You know what I mean? That's not going to happen.
Yep.
that's why I think, listen, if he fights Islam, it would be a fun fight. But Islam is very good on the ground, as we all know. So that's a difficult fight for him. He says Charles Oliveira is the easiest fight for me in the division. That's a little bit rough, I think. But he's going to grapple Charles Oliveira if they fight, And Charles Oliveira has been submitted before. Chandler, he's going to grapple him. Chandler is a good wrestler, don't get me wrong, but he's going to grapple him. Dariush, that's actually a fun fight, because Dariush is also very good in grappling. I'd love to see that fight.
And I think it might take place on the feed, too. I think it could be striking in that fight. Go ahead.
I'm kind of surprised with, I think you saw my tweet. I'm kind of surprised with the narrative about people like, oh, he got exposed. No, he didn't get exposed. He underestimated Silva striking, went with him in his striking, and he got rocked, and he almost paid for it,
Yeah.
He almost paid for it, but he didn't. He is a smart fighter.
He went for that takedown right away, too, eh?
Right away, So there you see his fight IQ. I think he didn't do himself a favor by fighting this way, But still, a good win, Third round finish, and people forgetting Joaquim Silva has knockout power, And I think Arman forgot that as well at the second. But it's a win, and also take in mind, Arman take this fight. He has nothing to win from this fight, He was he said to the press, "I expect you guys to put me in top 5 after a win here." It's not going to happen, Silva's not ranked, He's going to be at the same place where he is now, maybe one position higher if they really like him, but. Nothing to gain from this fight. It's just like getting a paycheck, getting a double paycheck.
Yeah, he had to fight someone.
That's it.
You're right. He's ranked 8. I mean, he did lose to Gamrot technically. I thought he beat him, to be honest with you, last year, but on paper it's a loss. So he's ranked number 8. You can't move him up anywhere at the moment. But again, I think he earned a top 5 guy again, and I think Dariush will sign off and fight him. I think that's going to be the fight. It looks like the one that makes sense, unless Chandler does the fight because Conor. I don't know if that fight's happening. I've talked about this.
What's fun, man? People are like, he got already his chance against Gamrot and he lost the split decision. That's like, what's
so
the fight?
Close. It wasn't split. It was unanimous. But
was it? Okay.
Yeah.
He could have won that fight.
I thought he won that fight. There was a knockdown that the judges didn't count for some reason in that fight. It's all 48-47 scorecards. But again, Sal Diamano and Chris Lee are 2 of the scorecards. So they don't even count. All right, let's get some other questions here. Comments. I mean, Patrick. Oh, well, there you go, Marcel. He wasn't impressed. Patrick didn't like the performance. Striking defense was abysmal. Couldn't see him fighting a level striker at Poirier succeeding with keeping the ground 90%. Well, that's what he's going to try to do, obviously.
Take in mind, he's not going to fight a Poirier, a Chandler, a Gaethje like he fought a Joaquim Silva. He thought this would be a really easy matchup for him and that he would take him out early,
Yep,
and he couldn't. He strike way too much with him than he should on the feet,
Yeah, I'm just saying, Marcel, Joaquim Silva's not a great fighter, man. Ricky Glenn knocked out, what, minute?
I know.
He's not great, dude.
I think Nasrat did as well, right?
Yeah, I mean, listen, he's obviously got some power, though, right? And we talk about all the time, puncher's chance, right? It's a real thing. It's a fight. It's a fucking fight, right? So you never know. But obviously, he was more skilled in the ground. I think Arman's ego contributed. Yeah, it's possible. I mean, he should have went for takedowns all day. But once he got rocked, it was all on the ground after that. It wasn't. Yeah. At least people won't be ducking as much. It's true. Arman implies the interview with the Schmo used to ragdoll Dustin sparring. That was when Dustin was getting ready for Habib. That's what he says, I guess. I mean, we weren't there, but I could see that happening. I think Dustin's really improved, though. I think ROC is lost. Yeah, it's possible. I mean, he can get better from this. Arman's really good at taking deep takedowns off leg kicks. Yes, that's true, actually, with Gaethje. That'd be interesting. Obviously, he's a kicker. Fight Talk, what's up, man? How's it going? Glad to have you here, man. Appreciate you doing the artwork again, my friend. I'm just trying to get some comments, guys, but we got to keep going because we have a lot more fights to cover. We got this one here. People need to keep in mind he gave Islam 3 tough rounds. I agree. He's good. Everyone knows that. But we're just saying, this wasn't his best performance. That's all I'm saying, anyways. I don't know what other people are thinking. I don't think he got exposed, per se, but I think he's got stuff to work on. We saw it in this fight. Go ahead.
I know why people are upset, because he called out Chandler, he called out Oliveira. People love Chandler, Oliveira, Poirier, these kind of guys, and I like them as well a lot. But the thing is, if he doesn't say shit, they won't fight him, You see now, he doesn't get a guy who is he doesn't even get a ranked guy. He went from Damir Ismagulov to Joaquim Silva, because Joaquim Silva is the only one who accepted the fight. He doesn't even get a ranked guy. So I mean, what do you guys want them to do? You know?
You're right. All right. Go to the next fight here. Arman Petrosian called him Marcel underdog pick, and he did exactly what I thought. Much superior striker, and not only that, but I think his grappling looked better. Christian Lever Duncan had a bad fight. He was trying to be like Michael Page for some reason, just stand there and win on style points. I am so glad the judges didn't get fooled by his antics, man. I really am. Like, Petrosian clearly outstruck him. I think all 3 rounds, personally. The last round, 2 of the judges gave to Duncan. I didn't see it that way, but it didn't matter because he already had banked 2 rounds. He looked great. The fact he was like plus 140 underdog is pretty crazy because he pretty much dominated the fight, man. He won almost every round, in my opinion, anyways. I think Duncan can be good, but just got to be way more aggressive. Just there was no aggressiveness from him in this fight. It was kind of a weird performance. He had such a huge reach advantage, just couldn't use it, you know? Petrosian's a good fighter, man. He's underrated, you know? Look at him now, 3-1 in the UFC. He's got some good wins. Greg Rodriguez, good prospect here in Duncan. He's an underrated guy, man. He's going to struggle against really pure grapplers, but remember, this dude's only been doing wrestling for like 3 years, guys. He was a pure striker before that. So he's definitely a good MMA fighter. He's improving. I think he's a good fighter. I liked him on Contender. I've liked him since he's gotten the UFC. And I liked his performance here, man. I thought it was a really clean performance. What do you think?
He definitely clearly won. You look really good. I feel like Duncan was trying to be flashy and Petrosian was trying to be business. You know what I mean?
Just technical.
And yeah, just he wasn't showboating at all. He was just picking his punches and being really technical, and he looked good. I gotta say, man, I'm not as high as you are on him. You know, that's also why I'm picking Duncan. But I just got some good wins. I still think the Rodriguez one, I didn't agree with that. Although I picked him in that fight, I didn't agree with that one. The Dobson one was good, you know, was solid, and this one was good as well. You know, I think this might be his best win so far in the UFC, in my opinion. Duncan did one. I think he almost like in the 3rd round he hit him good with something, but that was a flash moment, and then Arman I think took it to the ground even.
Yep.
And yeah, I mean, good win for him. I didn't expect it, so good pick by you, man. And Duncan really didn't impress. You know, he's like he got so much hype behind his name, and he didn't impress. And the first fight of his was against Todorovic. Todorovic got injured in that fight, so that was really hard to tell how it would go. But he didn't look good, man, in this fight. You know, Petrosian clearly won the fight, did very well. So yeah, good for him, man. Good for him.
Just checking, like I've got all 4 of his fights right in the UFC. Now, granted, the Rodriguez fight I thought could have went either way, but I've got all his fights right, man. So I have a good read on this dude, and I'm looking forward to see what's next for him. Again, fights a grappler like a Brendan Allen or something, he's going to be in trouble. But if he fights a striker, he can win those fights. He's a good striker, and his wrestling's improving. So I like what I see from him. Let's get some comments here, guys. Christian Duncan looks like LeBron James. I mean, maybe. I don't know. Like, the fighting style was like MVP, though, and it didn't look good. What are you going to say? What's up?
What would you favor in the fight, Arman Petrosian against Chris Curtis?
Arman. I would favor him in that fight. Honestly, I really would, because Chris is purely hands. Arman can mix it up. He can mix up the kick. His kicking game's really nice, dude. And he puts together combinations. Like, he'll go 1-2 kick. You know, like a 1-2 kick, move around, another kick, push the guy against the fence, go for a takedown. I think he mixes up really well. Again, Marcel, he's only been doing MMA for like 3 years, dude. So I liked what I saw. That's the thing. Like, here's the thing. Inexperience, right? Dude, I talked about this last week. Everyone's just looking at the 8 fights Duncan had in as a pro. But he had, 20 fights as an amateur. He had a lot of experience. More in MMA when you think about it. I think Duncan's going to win more fights in the UFC. He's a good fighter. This is a good learning lesson for him, right? But you can't just go out there and showboat. You actually have to throw strikes, you know? I'm just glad, Marcel, the judges didn't get fooled, because I saw some people on Twitter saying 10-9 Duncan in the first round. I'm like, what the fuck are you guys watching? Like, what are you watching? Like, that's just because the guy's more flashy does not mean he's winning the round. Like, pay attention. Like, Petrosian almost doubled him up in strikes. Anyways, couple more comments here. Experienced lead level. I mean, I agree with that, right? 4 fights in the UFC to 1. And the one fight was the guy getting injured with Dusko, right? It's a shame that fight didn't play out when you think about it. It really is. We didn't learn anything about the guy. So, Arman and Pfeiffer or Barrio. I think actually Barrio would be a great fight. I like to see Arman and Barrio. Pfeiffer, I don't think so personally, but Barrio would be good. If they do Pfeiffer, they could. But just saying, I'd like to see the Barrio fight. That makes a lot of sense, actually. Chris, what's up, man? What's up, boys? Teacher Ed and Callie. Finally, in summer break, able to catch you guys live again. Great picks last week, Adam. Keep the good work, boys. Thanks a lot, man. I really appreciate that, dude. Thank you so much, man. Yeah. The picks have been much better for me lately, man. I've just kind of changed my process a little bit, Marcel. I'm hoping it's another good week, but we'll see. We'll see. Watch me go like 0-14 or whatever. I'm just kidding. That won't happen. It'll be another good week, I promise you. But we'll see it for the next podcast in about 25 minutes. A couple other fights here. Obviously, in the main card, we had Pat Sabatini defeating Lucas Almeida. So I picked Pat. Did you pick Almeida, Marcel? I can't remember now.
Let's not talk about it, yes.
So the thing is, I picked Pat because of the wrestling, obviously. But at the weigh-in, dude, he looks so much bigger at the weigh-in. And Almeida, I was like really worried. I was like, okay, if I'm going to lose one on the main card, it's going to be this one probably. But again, the center of gravity, right? Like he was able to get down, taking the guy down. Lucas Almeida, again, where did he get his black belt from? Because he couldn't defend anything on the ground. Sabatini, obviously, a black belt, but like a much higher degree black belt, and the submission was there. Didn't get a bonus. I think he could have potentially. It was a really easy. Yeah, it was an easy win for him. He looked great. Improves to 5-1 in the UFC. Really good fighter, obviously. Almeida's got to get back to the playbook because the ground game was just horrendous by him. I mean, we know he's got good striking, right? But the ground game got exposed bad in this fight. Anyways, I thought Sabatini looked great. What do you think?
It's almost like he got punished because it looked so easy that he didn't get a bonus, Man, he looked good, or Almeida had an off day, I don't know, but Sabatini looked really good, After that loss against Damon Jackson, comes back and you do it like that. That's really impressive to me. I was high on Lucas Almeida, I really liked him. He had a fun fight against Daniel Zellhuber, I think, in the Contender Series, yeah? And then he had that Trezano win, which was the fight of the night, which was amazing. And had very bad luck with bookings that didn't went through, that fall through. Finally back in the octagon. I was high on him, man. And I still think he's a solid fighter. But, man, the takedown defense was bad. And Sabatini looked really, really good. So, props to Sabatini here, man. I think he definitely deserved a bonus.
He looked great. Go to the next fight here. Manuel Torres, my guy, Marcel, just a vicious knockout with the elbow. So Mono was looking pretty good actually the first couple minutes, or first minute I should say. He looked pretty good. He had some good strikes. I think he even rocked Torres really early in the fight, but then that step-in elbow, man, it was just a thing of beauty. Good's a bonus, obviously. One of the best knockouts of the year. One of the best elbow knockouts you'll probably ever see. Really like Manuel Torres, man. 2-0 in the UFC with two straight knockouts in the first round. Crazy power. Huge guys for the division too. Definitely gonna be in that Mexico card. I talked about on Twitter. I mean, I think Jim Miller's a great fight. People are like, "Oh, Jim's gonna get killed in this fight." Jim is a veteran who will fight anyone. And remember, Jim actually fought Moda, and Jim was a huge underdog in that fight and won that fight. It's not like Torres was a massive favorite against Moda. He was a small favorite and he won. Just saying, I don't think it's as crazy as people were saying. He's gonna fight a veteran, I think, next. I'll say that on that card. It doesn't have to be Miller, but someone like Dober would be great too. I understand that Dober, I don't know if he's ranked right now, but he's just outside that top 15. But still, I think it'd be a good fight. I just want to see good fights. That'd be a fun fight. I would like to see that fight. Guys like that. So bottom of the top 15 or someone in that 15-25 range. I think he's earned it, man. I think this guy's really, really legit. So what do you think, man?
I think they definitely will put him on that September 16 card.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's solid, I gotta say, Mota didn't start bad, but man, that elbow, what the hell,
Bro, I jumped off the couch. It was crazy, dude. Fucking crazy.
Super vicious elbow. Mota didn't move for a good amount of seconds there, back-to-back performance bonuses for Torres as well. Very good. He needs to step up in competition, clearly, Man, I mean, it's fucking lightweight, so I mean, you can pretty much put anybody against him. You can try to to hype him up a little bit, give him a veteran maybe. Jim Miller is good. I would say Vince Pichel makes sense as well. Maybe if you want to test his grappling, I would say Mark Madsen maybe, but. Yeah, that's a tricky one. You don't know how good his grappling is against a guy like Mark Madsen. So, why not? Or give him Clay Guida,
He's been submitted a couple times in the past in Mexico.
I couldn't understand you, man.
Camacho and Lamoda. Maybe they will try to test him out, but it is because it's that card. Can you hear me?
Yeah, for me, you're lacking. I don't know if it's me or it's you, but I barely understand you.
I apologize. I don't know what's going on here. Maybe I don't know what's going on. I mean, I can hear you fine, but
okay.
You guys let me know in the chat. Can you guys hear me, or is there an issue here? I think it might be me too, because I'm seeing a. Okay, Marcel, you talk. Go to the next fight, okay? Go to Dalby and Salikov. I picked this one too.
Yeah, Dalby and Salikov. I mean, I think Salikov started well, in the fight. I think he started really well. He was fighting his fight until Dalby landed that head kick late in the first round, and it completely changed the momentum in the fight. From that moment, Dalby looked better. Even he took him down. We know Salikov is more of a striker than a grappler. He took him down. He controlled him there. But even in the stand-up, in the clinch game, Dalby was better at a certain moment. Clearly won the second and third round. I think even he got two from two judges. He got the first round. He stole that round pretty much in the last 30 seconds, I guess. Good win for Dalby, and fun that he was talking about Martin Kampmann. That he was like, now I'm actually the most successful Danish fighter with the most wins as a professional fighter out of Denmark, because I surpassed Martin Kampmann, and he was really, really proud of that. So it's cool for him. Fun. Not. I don't think it was super fun, but it was a good fight, And good for Dalby. It's for the first time I think he has a 3-fight win streak in the UFC, and I'd love to see what's next for him.
What is going on here? I got caught in lag. I don't know what the fuck's going on here, guys. I apologize. Can you even hear me, Marcel?
Now I can. Now I can.
Oh, you good? Okay. I don't know. Sorry, guys. I really apologize. I don't know what happened here. Anyways, notice Muslim and Pavlich have similar stances. I didn't really notice that, but possibly. Moda, yeah, I think Moda probably gets cut, but they still have one more, fight where they're going to pay him like what, 12,000. So they'll probably keep him around. Yeah, Dalby looked good, Marcel. 1-4 of his last 5. He wants to fight on that card in November, 30th anniversary card. I think he said his 30th pro fight. Makes sense. He's going to turn 39 as well in November, so it just makes sense. So Madison Square Garden, I think it makes sense. There's probably a lot of fights he can, have in that division. He's been around for a while. He's a pretty good fighter. He's improving at an older age as well, so it's nice to see. All right. Next fight, Marcel. I mean, this fight was Jimmy Flick should not be in the UFC. He is not good, man. I'm sorry, but he's not. Like, he can't defend strikes. He's a submission or bust guy in the first round. Just not a great fighter. And Costa just destroyed him in this fight. The leg was just destroyed after the first round. Then obviously a ground pound finish. What do you think of Costa? He went bonus, Marcel. What do you think of his performance?
I like Costa a lot, man. He's like from the same team as Diego Lopez, right? He was on his corner as well. Really good fighter, He came to UFC against Amir Albazi, short notice, lost that fight, third round, but still, he didn't do bad in that fight, and we know where Albazi is now. He completely dominated Flick, man. Let's be honest, he completely dominated him. It was already pretty much over after the first round. Flick could barely stand on his legs. Then he pretty much went to the ground, and I was like, "Fucking stand up, dude," because Flick could barely stand anymore. And but he finished it on the ground with some vicious elbows. So, good for Costa. First win in the UFC. I think he's a fun prospect. Like to see more of him.
I like him a lot, man. Who's next for him? Do you think? Do you think he gets a rank guy? Do you think he fights someone in the top 15 at flyweight? How about him versus Suma Darji? Would you like to see that fight?
Yeah, why not? Why not? You can definitely do that. There are also some fun guys outside of the rankings still in 125, but yeah, Suma Darji is a possibility. I would say.
David Dvorak, someone like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's some fun fights for him. There's no doubt about it. All right. Congo Kyle Marcel, another underdog pick here, man. He looked great. Christian Cannonier again, padded record a bit, guys. You gotta really watch for that. And the next guy too will talk in the next fight. But Kong, man, all the experience, 10 fights in the UFC now. He's just so underrated, man. I really think he's super underrated. Actually, more than 10 fights. Sorry, he's got 8-3-1. So this is his 12th fight in the UFC. He's underrated. He's won 5 of his last 6 fights. His striking's getting better, which I talked about. His grappling's really good. He's a good fighter, and this division's just ridiculous when you have a guy like this that no one even thinks about, and he's still a good, solid veteran. So I thought he looked great. What'd you think, man?
Yeah, I tell you, man, for me, it was like a 50-50 pick before the fight. I thought either Kang could do well with his ground game. I think he's really solid, and I thought Quinones could possibly knock him out. I think Quinones started okay. But Kang took over. Kang, I should say, took over, and he tagged him, man. And after that, he got a full mount, and then after that, he tapped him out with a rear naked choke. And dude, talking about a fucking deep rear naked choke, dude. I had the feeling like he almost was popping his head off, man. So hard that rear naked choke. And like we said, man, Kang is an underrated guy. If you look at the bantamweight division, he's been there for a long time, and he doesn't get the credits he deserves. And I, again, didn't give him the credits he deserved because I picked Quinones. But still, I respect the dude a lot. I think he's a good fighter, and he's been showing that through his UFC career. I mean, you cannot be like 8-3 in the bantamweight division in the UFC if you're not good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's solid. He's underrated. I'm telling you, man. He's a good fighter. Curious to see what they do with him next. He said he wants to fight the Singapore card, I think, or Sydney. So both those cards make a lot of sense. Going to the next fight here, a lot to talk about in this fight. Marcel Carlos Hernandez defeats Dennis Bondar by decision. First off, we talked about Bondar, right? The record's padded, Marcel. Like, we're looking through the record, like, who are these guys that he even beat? He got exposed in this fight again. Not a great fighter. Hernandez looked great. Best performance by him. He's underrated, man. He's an underrated guy. He's a good fighter. He got robbed, I think, of a knockout win, though, in my opinion. Oh, by the way, I thought Kong, Marcel, I thought he could have got a bonus, too. I think Kong, I was a little surprised he didn't. And Hernandez, I think, had he got that knockout, had it counted, he might have got the bonus, too, because it was so vicious. So, anyways, obviously he was going to win the fight. There's a few things to talk about this fight. Bondar also landed an illegal knee. We forgot to talk about Marcel. He that was clear illegal knee. And then Jaron Vallel, the referee, doesn't take a point. How do you not take a point there? That's about as blatant as it gets. That's a point deduction, man. The referee fucked up there. And I don't like this ref. Like, I've talked about him many times. He's Canadian. I don't care. He's not a good ref. End of the fight, the damage that was inflicted after the slam where he was already knocked out, laying ground and pound elbows, is just brutal. Like, it doesn't have to happen. Like, the ref's there to stop the fight. So you let him take like 10 extra punches or elbows. And then on top of that, goes to replay for this, the clash of heads. Granted, they did on the throat, but like, we've seen that happen before and they haven't really did that. So a little surprised by that. Kind of feel he got robbed of a TKO win. He still got the win, thankfully, because he deserved it. I just think the ref did a really shit job in this fight, personally. What do you think, man?
This fucking dumb fuck idiot. He's like, he's standing over the fighter while he gets knocked. He sees the clash of heads. He sees it, Yep. And he stands staring at him like, oh, he gets popped in the head with the elbow like 7 times back to back while he was already out. And he's standing there like, yeah, if he dies, he dies, And then he finally steps in, And it's like, and then you see him to the, how do you say that, to the other officials. You see him doing this, like they clashed heads against each other, like this. I was like, dude, why didn't you stop it when you saw that? What the hell? You're an idiot, And I don't care if you look, you're an idiot, Jaron Vallel. It's not the first time with him, It's always something with him, He fucks up stuff.
Yep.
And this was bad, Really, you can take off a certain amount of years of a career from a fighter by this kind of damage Hernandez did to Bondar. This was really bad. 7 or 8, I think 7 strikes with elbows unanswered. Dude was out from the clash of heads. Just hell stupid. I'm not even mad about the decision going to a technical decision. I'm mad about this referee by not stopping the fight when he had to stop the fight, Thank God Hernandez got the win because he clearly deserved the win. But dude, get that fucking Jaron Vallel out of MMA officiating, man. And same goes for Chris Toyoni, although he didn't do anything bad last night or on Saturday. But always something with these guys, And it's like, listen, if a referee does well, I'll say it as well, But it's like we're always like talking about these same referees who are doing stupid stuff, It's like, it's just annoying.
I agree. Anything else you want to say about Bilal or?
About Fidel, yeah, fuck off.
Okay, let me get some comments because I see some people in the chat. Her being claimed as shoulder first, nowhere near terrible official. Yeah, I mean, even he was the replay official. How's Bilal even reffing this level so many years? I hope they keep him Tyrone at the Apex. Why those poor fighters at the Apex? These guys shouldn't be in the UFC. Bilal's not UFC caliber ref. How much longer these shit show ref forces going unanswered? Forever, because there's always people on Twitter defending them, saying they don't make much money. Leave the refs alone. Leave them alone. They have feelings. These guys are going to get people fucking killed, man. He's not a good ref, Joe, at all. He's terrible. And the slam was great. The guy got robbed of a knockout win.
That's what's wrong in this world, man. Fuck your feelings. You know? That's wrong.
We'll talk about that in a sec, Antoine. Anyways, 3 more fights left. Trey's up late and defeats Gabriel Fernandez. Yeah, I mean, I thought this is exactly this was an easy fight to pick. This was the easiest fight in the card to pick, in my opinion. The grappling was, the levels were so far apart. I will give Fernandez credit, man. She came out like a bat out of hell in that third round, dude, and she was teeing off. Blade, really toughed it out there, so credit to her. But wow, that was crazy. Also, listen, I know most people hate Bloody Elbow. I have a good relationship with the guys that work there. They were the only outlet that scored this fight for Fernandez 29-28. I just don't see that at all. And they got trolled hard, or not trolled. They got trashed. Pretty much. I could see, to be honest, even though the third round Blade ended up on top and landed more strikes, I could see you giving her that round. But like, how would you give her the other two? I don't really see that. Any quick thoughts on this fight, man?
I think first 2 rounds were clear for Bleda. Third round, I think Fernandez came back in the third round, but I mean, Bleda took her down and she couldn't stop the takedown. That was a big problem, And good win for Bleda. She's still super young. Bloody Elbow, probably a big fan of that non-stoppage by Jaron Fallal against from Carlos Hernandez because of the elbow, lots of bloody elbow. I mean, Bleda won that fight. I mean, how can you score that for Fernandez? And I like Fernandez a lot. I think she's pretty decent, but the takedown defense was bad, And it did her bad in both of her UFC fights, so far. So yeah, maybe she got a third one. The UFC doesn't cut the women that.
There's got to be someone that she could beat, man. There has to be someone that has bad wrestling.
She's a former LFA champion, so I mean,
she's not that bad. She just doesn't have good takedown defense. That's the problem. So she'll never be a top 15 fighter, but there's still fights she could win at the bottom of the weight class. Thing. I like this comment for Antoine. He says, I feel you guys. Hell yeah. I don't want to hear any excuses. Pick another job. Yeah, I agree. All right. 2 more fights left, guys. So Dan Orgetta got robbed against Ronnie Lawrence. So I'll give my thoughts on this fight. Overturned, no contest. First off, in the end, yeah, he didn't tap, right? So it's not a legit submission because he didn't tap, but I feel like he was a second away from tapping. I feel like Keith Peterson robbed this kid of the biggest win of his career. I think Keith Peterson robbed him of a $50,000 bonus for an amazing performance. I think Keith Peterson really fucked this guy over. And I also feel like the UFC, unless they've given him his win bonus and he hasn't talked about it, because I haven't heard anything. And I feel like it would have been reported by now, because I know there's journalists like Alex that, are pretty close to this guy, and they would have reported if he got his win bonus. It's like $10,000 probably for the UFC, or 12. Step up and pay this guy's win bonus right now. Like, you have to. He got fucking screwed by Keith Peterson, guys. He got screwed, and Dominic Cruz was just laying into no nonsense Keith. Keith Pearson over the years has been a good ref, but I feel like he slipped a bit this year, man. He's had some really subpar performances, and unfortunately, in this sport, you can't really have that happen because you have to be there and you have to be present in the moment. You have to make split-second decisions, and you have to make them right and correct. And it feels like he made some bad calls this year, including this one. The guy didn't tap at all. It wasn't close to a tap, guys. That's really bad. Again, he screwed the guy out of a win. He screwed him out of a bonus, a win bonus, performance bonus, everything. 4 months of that guy's life was poured into his training camp for this, just to get this to happen. Terrible. So, if you bet on Ronnie Lawrence, by the way, you got so lucky, because he was going to lose. There's no doubt. Ronnie Lawrence, he's a weird fighter, eh? He can't stop a takedown. He can take you down, but he can't stop one. It's crazy.
That's really weird.
It's so weird. With Orgetta, I thought this was a great performance. I do think they should run it back, Marcel. You have to run it back, in my opinion. And I would, even though Dan was the underdog, I would obviously favor him in a rematch. So I think everyone would, to be honest with you. How could you favor Ronnie Lawrence? Tell me about the reffing, because man, we got off to a bad start in this card with the officiating. This was just terrible. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, Keith Peterson, he was like, or Lawrence was about to tap. He was like thinking about it, and then he did it. And then Peterson pulled his hand, and then because he pulled his hand, he pulled it back, Lawrence, and he was like, oh yeah, he tapped. So he broke them up. And I don't know if you guys go to a commercial break in between the decision and the stoppage, or that you see the background what's happening, because we can see the background what's happening.
I can't remember.
And you saw Keith Peterson talking with Jaron Vallel and he said to Jaron Vallel, he tapped twice. And then Jaron Vallel said something to him like, no, not that. And then he came back in the cage, and he first went to Argetta and he said, I'm sorry, dude, I fucked up or something. And then he went to Lawrence. He said, I fucked up. You didn't tap. So and then the official decision came. So it was a no contest, and then he stormed off out of the octagon. So many people said online, like, he's not even admitting his fault. He's storming out of the octagon, but he actually did, when I think a lot of people were in commercial break. So he felt bad about it. He knew he fucked up. And listen, Peterson, like you said, doesn't have his best year this year. He made some more, but at least he admitted it. He admitted it, and he felt bad about it. So I'm not giving him, how do you say that? I'm not giving him an easy way off, because I think it was a super bad call. And like you said, he clearly cost Argetta his win bonus and maybe even a performance bonus here, But at least he's a ref. First, he didn't admit it, but then he apologized and he admitted. So I respect that, But still, man, I feel bad for Argetta. And also for Lawrence, at the same time, because in Lawrence's mind, he probably is like, I wasn't going to tap and I would come back. He probably wouldn't, but
MMA, you never know.
Exactly. So for Argetta, it's super rough. Would have been his biggest win of his career. So yeah, I
agree. Okay, a couple comments here. Not Pierce's greatest night. No. Oh yeah. Sorry, you can't fight. He took a lot. So he took a lot of damage with those ground and pound punches. In my opinion, Keith did Ronnie a favor. Yeah, in a way. I don't know why. Ronnie was pissed. He told Dan to, like, what do you say, like, you're a fucker or something? He was swearing at him afterwards. Alex reported that too, I think. As Peterson was, there's no way Goddard or Dean admit their fault. That's true. Those guys have huge egos. They wouldn't say that. Maybe Goddard, but no way Dean would. It was an absolute blessing. Cruz on commentary. I know, right? It was great. Bob's going to make a room for another Dana White Contender Series guy. Probably, most likely. Yeah,
I can't agree with Knox that I thought Cruz went light on Peterson as well, by the way.
I was probably more pissed than he was. You guys were Keith Peterson. Would you go after Dominic Cruz for the trash talk? No, because I think Cruz would kick his ass. So that's the thing with the sport, man. A bunch of guys are ass kickers. Say the shock to Keith works 290. That's the thing. Like, and again, I really like Aaron Broadster. He's a good friend of mine. Like, I don't agree with all of his comments about this fight. I didn't agree with a lot of the stuff he was saying.
What did he say? I didn't see it.
Aaron. He knows the process behind the judging and the officiating. I get that he's taking a more like prominent role in understanding that. And I respect that. I just think like he was saying like, well, this could affect his future working assignments. Honestly, guys, I doubt it. He'll probably work the next event. He'll probably work the Strickland Magomedov event. I don't see why he wouldn't. Maybe I'm wrong.
And I'd rather see Peterson than Vallel Toyoni.
So. Yeah, that's true, or whatever. So, like, that's the thing. Like, the pool of refs is so shallow anyways in the sport, right? Like, there's not many good refs. Keith had a huge fuck-up. I still think he's a pretty good ref, but bad night for him. And this was a really, really big fuck-up. Like I said, I think if the UFC pays Dan, the win bonus, all can be forgiven a bit, right? Because you never know if he would have got that performance bonus, but you got to give that kid his win bonus. You have to. Yeah. And then, anyways, the first fight of the night, Modestas Bukauskas wins unanimous decision over Zach Pauga. I didn't agree with it, guys. I picked Bukauskas by decision. I thought Zach won the first and third round. Or sorry, the first and second round, I think it was. Was that? I can't remember now. No, sorry, guys. The second and third round. First round I gave to Modestas. And it was close too, but the other two, Zach definitely won the second round. I don't know how Anthony Manis scored all three rounds for Modestas. How do you get the second round to him when he got rocked so bad by Zach? This was a low-key robbery, honestly. Zach should have won the fight. I thought he won at least two of the rounds, guys, if not three. So he should have had to win this fight. Do you agree with me?
I don't agree that it was a robbery. I think it was a close fight. I definitely think Zach Pauga won the second round. I gave the first to Modestas, and I think the third round was a toss-up, in my opinion. It wasn't clear. So I would have been good if Power won 29-28. Would have been good if Modestus won 29-28. That's how I
Yeah,
feel
but that
about it,
30-27 is so bad.
That's
So
really,
bad.
yeah, of course, that's bad. That's as
Again,
bad as that the fourth round from a Vettori. That's as bad.
Yeah, and that's that judge that gave 30-27 to Jeff Molina over Zhalgas Zhumagulov, which was, in my opinion, one of the worst scorecards of all time. Just horrible.
Remember Molina? Remember Molina walking away when it's just Anthony Mann scored a fight 30-27, and he's walking away.
I know the
winner by
legit,
split
it's so
decision.
classic, eh? It's a classic reaction. He just starts jumping around. Classic. He probably bet on himself in that fight too, knowing him. That's before they banned the betting. Who do you guys think's the best ref? Jason Herzog? Maybe. I mean, Jason Herzog's a great ref, and he's a guy that will go on Twitter and explain himself. Unlike the rest of these wimps, they just hide behind the commission. Not all of them. Like obviously Goddard's also prominent on Twitter. I'm just saying. Yeah, Goddard's a good ref. I think he's good. I think he's good.
What's your favorite ref? If you say three favorite refs,
Jason Herzog for sure.
I'd say Jason Herzog, Mark Goddard, and Mike Beltran.
Mike Beltran for sure. Although he did fuck up that fight with Priscilla Cachoeira and Gina Mazzani.
Yeah, I agree.
That was like his worst performance. But he's
by the way, thinking back about that, he did great stuff.
Pretty awesome, right? Gina getting her face caved in, like what a jerk she is, for what she did to Tim Elliott, and Kevin Kroon. We all know about that. Those two, I would for sure. I agree with you. And then the third one, I don't know if I'd put Carter there. Can't put Herb Dean there anymore.
Okay, I liked Rosenthal back in the day, but
he was pretty good. Yeah, and we got caught up with like a big weed thing. He got busted for weed. He was actually a good ref, although I think he was high as hell when he did that Munoz Chris Weidman fight. Because remember how late that stoppage was? Holy crap! Yeah. People were like making the joke like this guy was so stoned after that. I'm trying to think. Remember that there was been like some refs over the years that were good and they left. There's so many refs that sucked though and left, like Yamasaki, Kim Winslow, Mazzagatti, and then there's another guy, Leon Roberts. Remember he did that fight? Was it Jose Aldo and Peter Yan? And it was remember in Abu Dhabi that fifth round, got his head kicked, just his face getting smashed, elbows. I don't think he's ever ref since then, has he? I don't remember.
Kevin Mulhall.
He's not reffing now. He's the guy that did he? No, Kevin McDonald's the guy that did the fight with Ion Kutalaba and I can't remember what's his name. Magomed Ankalaev, right? Yeah, that was bad. That's the thing. We keep talking like who's the best ref. We're just thinking all these guys that aren't good. Like the pool is so shallow. I'm just trying to think. Like there's got to be someone else I'm forgetting. Give me one sec. I gotta think about this. I want to answer the question. I really do. I picked two. I do think I have two really good ones in Herzog and what's his name?
Albuquerque. Mike Beltran.
I'm trying to think right now. Okay, so
Jacob Montalvo.
Mark Smith. No, I couldn't put Mark Smith there. Can't put Tyone. Can't put Peterson. I don't think I could put Kerry Hatley either. I'm just trying to look at some other guys here, Marcel. You know what? Frank Trigg's actually a good ref. I'm going to give Frank some credit here. He hasn't done a ton of UFC fights, but when they do go to California, he does them. He's actually a good ref. He's a good ref, Marcel. I think he's really good. Yeah, Trigg, I agree. Trigg's actually pretty good. Chris Lieben, I think, does some reffing as well. I'm just trying to look as well. I mean, he doesn't ref anymore, but I thought Big John was a great ref too. I really do. I thought he was one of the better refs. Because I'm looking at like the top 20 list right now. It's not that great, man. You have a lot of refs that just aren't that great. Anyways, getting a bit too much into this, but I just found like an article with a bunch of refs, so I'll throw it in the chat.
I was never a big fan of the Canadian guy. What's his name?
Yves Levine.
Yves Levine. The thing with Yves Levine, I always had something like, if you're a grappler, you're fucked, because he always stood up the grapplers.
Yeah, I know. And the refings change over the years. I don't think he was terrible. I used to.
No, he wasn't terrible.
The UFC video game back in the day, I feel like he always reffed my fights in the game. Anyways, all right, yeah. So let's finish that discussion, Marcel. I mean, overall, UFC Vegas 75, good card. Let's switch our gears, Marcel, to Bellator 297. We'll just recap it really fast. Main event: Vadim Nemkov defeats Yoel Romero. Marcel, I mean, the fight was not really that close. Any thoughts at all?
I agree. What's the weird narrative that Bellator has about a 205 division in the UFC?
Where did this come from all of a sudden? And like, I don't agree with it at all. Do you?
Coker said it.
I don't agree with it. And all the guys that work for Bellator, and like I get it, they work for Bellator, right? So they have to say it, but like, I don't agree with this dude. I mean, he's a good fighter, but like you beat an aging Corey Anderson and Romero. He did beat Ryan Bader, which was a nice win, but like I don't know, man. I don't think so. What do you think?
No, definitely not. I mean, I wouldn't. I think Chris de Santiago, he tweeted about it that he agreed, and I was like, would you favor Nemkov against Yuri Prohaska rematch and Ankalaev? I would personally don't. He said I wouldn't.
I'd pick Jamal Hill to beat him too. I would also pick Ankalaev to beat him as well. So I'd pick at least 3 guys right now.
Hill, but yeah, Ankalaev and Prohaska definitely, yeah.
I think Hill beats him too, dude. Hill's really good. To be honest with you, I think Jan Blachowicz gives him a good fight too. There's like at least,
I like Hill, but I'm still not convinced him as a champion. So I don't know.
Bro, he beat Glover and he like did so well against Glover, man. I mean, he did well on the ground too. That's why I think he's legit. But
he's definitely legit. But is he better than Yuri? Is he better than Ankalaev? I don't know.
Not sure. But I'm not saying he's better than those guys. But I do think he's better than Vadim Nemkov. Vadim Nemkov is a pretty good fighter. I don't think he's elite. You know, like. He's elite in the sense that he's top 10 in the world. Okay, so I shouldn't say that, but I just think he's not in that upper echelon of the elites, in my opinion. Anyways, I don't agree with it. He's still a good fighter, but yeah. Oh, he died? Chris Lencioni? He passed away?
No way. No. I don't think he passed away. He had cardiac arrest, I think.
That would happen. I know. I saw something about him. Oh, wait. Hold on. They just confirmed it. Now the family's confirmed it. Okay. I think something came up. There's an update to it here. Oh, they put a GoFundMe. Yeah, that's really sad. I hope I really hope that he pulls through here. I'm reading the article on Junkie. It says he's scheduled to fight James Gallagher, or the matchup figures to be put in jeopardy. Yeah, he's not fucking fighting in that fight, guys. This dude's fighting for his life. He is not fighting in 2 months at all. I really hope he pulls through, man. I really do. It's really sad what happened to that guy. Nemkov Corey trilogy, probably. Yeah, we'll just get into the rest of the fights here. We'll actually I just skip the co-main event, but yeah, Sergio Pettis looked great, man. Won every round basically. It's Triso Pitbull Marcel, who just cut a lot of weight to make this division, and you should go back to 145. Yeah, Pettis is really underrated. He has some really good wins on his resume now. Like he has a win over Pitbull, he has a win over Benavidez, he has a win over Horiguchi, Archuleta. Like there's some other guys he had some good wins over. So Sergio Pettis is a guy that's underrated, man, and he's a very, very good fighter. He's won 6 straight fights. I mean, he's really good. I'm curious to see how this fight with Patchy Mix goes. I think Mix will be favored, right? Mix is fucking great, but after seeing this fight, man.
Did you see the height difference, man? Why did it square off?
Well, Mix was taller, right?
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah. I don't know how he makes 135. He's a big dude. Obviously, he's going to try to grapple in this fight, and Pettis is going to try to, stand. The size might be a problem, but man, I think Pettis, the striking's obviously better. So, like overall, Corey Anderson defeats Phil Davis by split decision. Did you think Corey won the fight? I don't know if you saw it. Did you think he won or
close fight, man? But wasn't really bothered with it, to be really honest.
Yeah, it wasn't a special fight in my opinion. Corey won. He's a good fighter. I guess they do the trilogy because who else is going to fight for the belt, right? Gokam Tsarukyan, he won over Daniel James, upset in or no, it wasn't upset actually, was it? I think he was maybe been favored, but I thought James would pull through in Chicago, but just couldn't get the job done. A couple other fights to this Gadzi Rabidanov guy, Marcel. I don't think he looked great. He won his fight, but he got real tired at the end of the fight. He got real tired. Oh, Ramazan. Yeah, he did. Ramazan Kurmagomedov, former UFC fighter. I don't even know if he actually fought in the UFC.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, he fought Contender. He fought Jordan Williams. I think he won that fight, didn't he, against Jordan?
He won, and Dana didn't want to sign him because he thought Jordan won, and then he got a late replacement opportunity, and got injured and got cut or something. I don't know exactly.
Yeah, that's right. So this was amazing knockout, guys. If you didn't see it, check it out. It was fucking awesome. Great knockout. Also, this guy Norbert Novenyi Jr. Marcel, they call him Magic Norbert or something. What's his nickname? Dude.
Norbert is good.
What a knockout. He's a good young prospect. He looked great. Archie Coughlin got a nice win over Manuel Sanchez. Jordan Newman got the submission. Cody Law. And then there was to be honest, so the card started like an hour late because they didn't have the ambulance there at the arena, which is just so Bellator. Yeah. I completely forgot after the last fight was over with Nemkov and Romero. I was so tired. I'm going to bed. I forgot there were still the post limbs. So I didn't see them, but I heard the Mike Hamill fight was great and he won that fight by majority.
Yeah.
You saw the fight? Was it good? I heard it was good.
I haven't seen it. No, I haven't seen it, but
I heard it was a good fight. That Vladimir Gueva guy got another quick knockout. Kyle Crutchford knocked out Bobby Nash. That's not a good
I've seen that one.
Carl Moore is pretty underrated, man. He's on a nice roll. He got a win here over Polizzi, and then this Timur Kizriev guy defeated Richie Small, former UFC fighter. So yeah, I did check out the main card and some of the prelims, but I missed those postlims, which again is so Bellator they would do that. Yeah, 5 postlims. I didn't see any of them. Yeah, I mean Corey won the fight, guys. Like I think most people scored for him. Just saying, I'm looking in the chat. I thought it was pretty competitive, but it doesn't matter. Corey got the win, and he probably should get that trilogy fight because again, he won that first fight, man, and he played himself. They say, right? He's like, hey, I accidentally headbutt or clashed heads with the guy. Frank Trigg was the ref, and Frank's like, okay, I gotta take a look at the replay or whatever. Kind of screwed himself.
I never know about these postlims, man. It's like when you're nut and she keeps sucking. You know what I mean? It's just like weird.
I forgot about. They're just like back in the old days of MMA, it made sense, but not anymore. It's like just make sure you have enough time before the main card start. I know. Okay, so let's go to PFL really fast as well, Marcel. I did check out some of the PFL card. PFL 5. Antti Delia defeats Maurice Green, won that fight, but he needed to finish and he couldn't get it, and so he's out of the tournament now as the winner last year. So another winner didn't make it through. Versus Pacheco, quick knockout win over Amber Liebrock. Like that fight, again, mismatch. Hannon Ferreira defeats Matthias Scheffel by knockout. Big win there for him. Biagio Ali Walsh, I think he's still an amateur.
It was an amateur fight.
That shouldn't be on the main card if it's an amateur fight. Why doesn't he just go pro at this point? Go pro, dude. Anyways, Aspen Ladd she needed to finish. Marcel got with 3 seconds left. Very impressive. By the way, she made $100,000. Aspen Ladd's making good money in PFL. She's making real good money. I don't know if you saw that. Dennis Goltov, really fast knockout over Jorgen De Castro. He's on a 50-50 deal as well, so he's making good money there. Good for him. Marina Mocantina, that's a tough one to pronounce. She missed weight. Did she miss weight? Was it her?
I can't remember, dude.
I can't remember. Someone missed weight in that fight, and they lost a point. But yeah, she got the win. I think she moved on. Julia Budd got a win. She moved on. Marcelo Nunez knocked out Danilo Marquez. Olena Kolezic won. Jordan Harriman got a win from the Ultimate Fighter, and then Cy Pinson. So overall, I mean, like it wasn't a great card. There were some nice knockouts on the main card at least. But overall, I mean, some of these guys are not, not great.
Like I said before to you, man. Why the fuck would you put heavyweight with women, lightweight?
Who decided that? Who decided that?
They keep doing that every time.
Ugh, too stupid. Yeah, it was. I don't think it was one of their better PFL cards. I do watch most of their cards. It wasn't the best one. Anyways, a couple other comments here. How'd you guys feel? Oh, yeah, this is a great question. How'd you guys feel with Jones and Francis facing off? Yeah, it sucks the fight's not going to happen, right? But it was a cool face-off. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I'm a mistake. Ladd and Bud both missed the players. Oh, yeah, shit. They need finishes, eh? Okay, so yeah, my apologies. The structure is that they need finishes. So, wait, I thought Ladd made it. I thought she did make it.
No.
Really? Oh, shit.
She needed a round earlier to finish, I think, to make it.
Oh, really? Oh, fuck. My apologies. Yes, I see it now. Oh, yeah. So she tied with the Olena girl, but she had two wins, and Aspen only had the one. Okay, yeah. Man, that sucks because I think that girl missed weight at one point too, if I'm not mistaken, and still made it through because of the way they do it with, if you get 2 wins over 1. My apologies. I still don't understand their structure sometimes. Go ahead.
If they really want to validate this tournament, by the way, fucking hell, drew the names and draw the names in the hat and pick from there, because they're pretty much trying to.
They're handpicking the fights.
Yeah, they handpicking the fights, and they want to make sure that certain guys, and I understand it, one guys are better draws than others, but that's weird, You see clearly who they want to win, and it doesn't always work, But yeah, you know what I mean.
I do. All right, just she did be in a tiebreaker. I'm looking at it right now. See, that's the thing. Olena missed weight in her last fight by 1 point, right? That to me should disqualify you completely from the tournament, I think. I don't think you should get any points. I think that's what they did in the first season, didn't they? Like, you don't get points. You can still get your money.
You don't get points,
But now they changed it now. I don't like that. I don't like that, man. My brother's friend, Bayran Zucker, fights on PFL this weekend. He's probably big favorite, but easy bet. Yeah, that guy's pretty good. I didn't know that was your brother's friend. That's cool. Would you prefer the opponent for Nagano, Ferreira or Goltsov? Probably Ferreira, I would say. But they're both interesting. They're both interesting. Anyways, let's end this podcast, Marcel. Let's get out of here. We're gonna go start a new one here, guys. Any second now for UFC Jacksonville preview. Anything else you want to say, Marcel? We're going to end the UFC Vegas 75 preview. Oh, yeah. Let's answer Marcus's question. He didn't listen today, but I don't think he was in the chat, but he always asks us whose stock dropped the most. It's got to be Marvin, right? It has to be, right?
I think not only Marvin, I would say Marvin, also Christian Leroy Duncan. I know you weren't high on him, but a lot of people were, but yeah, it got to be Marvin, and maybe for some people, even Arman Tsarukyan, but those people are kind of crazy in my opinion. But Marvin Vettori, yeah, it's makes most sense. I'm with you.
Some people
I'm with you.
Would say Arman, even though he.
Yeah, because he got rocked.
Yeah.
I don't agree with it. You're lacking, by the way. I didn't hear you anymore. But
we're gonna start a new podcast in 1 sec. Talk to you at